Hey everybody, welcome back to the Pullboxpals podcast for the 50th time. My name
Wow.
is Monk, and that in the background is Mr. Impressed. We call him Mad, aka Mad
Mad
Chuckler,
impressed.
and Mad Impressed. Can that be your like hashtag when you read a comic that's like you really enjoy? Just
Oh,
hashtag
that's good. I like that.
Mad
Yeah,
Impressed.
I'm gonna do that.
Wow. We are just digging gold right here at the top of the podcast.
Yeah,
But it's good to be back.
it's good to be back. It's always good to be back here on Wednesdays.
Yeah.
It's kind of like for me, uh, it's kind of the start or finish of my week. So it's just I know like tomorrow is like a new day where I go about the rest of the other 6 days, but like so much of it is focused in on okay, Wednesday's kind of like I guess it is. It's the hump. It's like
Mhm.
the high point of my week, and then
Yeah.
yeah.
Literally same until like the weekends, but like in like the like Monday through Friday doing this is like the it's like the peak of the tent pole of that is the circus that is my life.
Oh yeah, I liked how you said that.
Yeah, I mean, the image I tried to paint was great. The way I said it was terrible.
Mhm.
But what are you gonna do? But
Uh,
yeah, the problem is when we first started doing this, we started doing it on Thursdays. So when we do this in my head, I still think it's Thursdays.
oh
So
yeah,
there's a
I can say I
lot
get
of
there.
there's a lot of days where I'm like at work and I'm like, oh, it's Friday, and then I'm like, nope, it's Thursday because good old comic book time with my pal tricks me.
Yeah. Um, yeah, I don't know. I get yeah, you kind of have a different you have a different life than I
Yeah.
do. So
Wow.
it would
Yep.
appear slightly, still the tent pole analogy, but
Hmm.
the building and dismantling is totally different.
That's right. I've been thinking a lot about carnivals lately, mostly because I read Junction Jones earlier this week. I'll probably get into that later. I did that was my Scout Comic Sunday.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, so yeah, already kind of chat about that, but I've just been thinking about carnivals since then, and just
Ah,
like, yeah, this just because we'll dive into this, but I was having a chat with the writer of this. Let me just make sure I get the name right because I feel bad not being able to just whip it out off the top of my head. TC Pescator. We were chatting about because last week we mentioned my band and we started talking about music and folk punk genres, and it got into like hobos and stuff like that, and then talking about like this interesting relationship between like people that like were just transient workers or whatever, and then they just got in with the carnival and would just use it as a way to go around the country. And it's
mhm.
definitely like a dying part of our like society, but it was probably a really big thing, like the
Yeah.
carnival is coming to town, you know.
Well, yeah, and like I don't know. I think carnivals are kind of going away. Well, they're not going to go away. I don't think they'll ever go away, but I think that like the crowding of it has grown less in
Hmm.
our lifetime, like cuz when I was a kid, like that was the thing to do, go ride the rides. But now I was like an adult and I'm still seeing like a lot of the same rides and just like, huh, the maintenance on this. Oh wow, here's like 70 news articles about carnival accidents that have to do with the ride.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
so
I feel like the carnival has kind of been replaced by block parties and like local fairs, you know?
yeah.
I mean, I'm sure they always had fairs, so maybe I don't know. It's just interesting, like the Americana, the history of
Mhm.
this country and just the weird stuff that we've done. Of just like, what if I mean, the traveling circus? I was gonna say, what if the circus travels, but it does,
It does. That's what it does. Yeah.
Yeah. back when the railroads were important and not just things that we used to just wreck. But when they actually like meant something to our country. And
Yeah.
but anyways.
I got a carnival question for you. What's your carnival choice of food?
Oh, I thought you were gonna say game.
Nah.
I think it would probably be funnel cake, because it just feels like, again, classic Americana. Like
Yeah.
it's just some dough, or whatever it is, just somebody with like a ketchup squirter thing, just shooting out pancake mix and then deep frying it. And
Yeah.
that's a classic America. And then
Hmm.
you get into like deep frying Oreos, and I'm just like, that's the worst parts about America. I'm gonna take like the best parts where I'm like, yeah, I'm deep
Let's
frying.
take something that's already kind of awful for you and let's make it more awful.
Like let's nail the let's nail the final nail in the coffin
But
of how awful this is.
I will say like things like a deep fried Snickers. I mean, I've tried it, but I've also tried it enough to know like I've had enough for my lifetime.
Yeah.
Like I'll probably just leave it there to like the nostalgic feel of it because I know that if I have one now, I'll probably like, ugh.
Well, I'm just like, yeah, of course this tastes good. Like this is like how do you say this? Like specifically made to just be like the tastiest things, like your
Mhm.
sugar, your butter, your just everything. Like, and yeah, it's like, well, of course it's gonna be like this explosion of like goodness in my mouth, but like that doesn't mean that it should be indulged. Have some
Yeah.
restraint, America. My goodness. But like,
What if what if people like really started having that restraint, but it went so far as like I'm gonna get one and I'm gonna like bite into it and chew it, but I'm gonna spit it out.
they just have like slop buckets next to, and
Yeah,
like the hogs come and
just
feed.
gonna get the flavor and then spit it out. Like
Wow.
that'd be
I do
great.
that. I mean, I've definitely done that with water. I don't know if I've ever done that with food. I'll be like, I want I want my mouth to be dry, but I don't feel like drinking anything, so I'll just swash like water around and then spit it on the ground or whatever in my
Yeah,
house. Just kidding.
yeah, yeah.
Anyways.
Because I've been like trying to think because last year was like when I took my kids to like the fair. We went for my son's birthday, and like he had all of his like his boys come. It was like his birthday party, and
Mhm.
it was the first year for me where I was like, I really don't know what I want to eat.
Mm.
And then I found like a Asian food truck that seemed like this is probably the healthiest option here, and like it was really really good, but
Nice.
I just like I don't know, turkey legs have become a thing for me for Renaissance fairs
Yeah.
rather than the carnival, and like they're also just like they can be a pain to eat.
Yeah.
You're gonna get messy eating a
As
turkey leg.
as a vegetarian, nothing confirms my decision more than trying to watch people eat those, and like halfway through they're like, we stopped doing this for a reason. We
Yeah.
became again, we're there's I'm like walking this civilized balance, right? So it's like you don't want to be too uncivilized that you're eating a turkey leg, but you don't want to be
Mhm.
like over civilized where you're deep frying an Oreo. There's that perfect balance, and that's
Yeah.
why it's a funnel cake.
I can kind of relate to that in that um I'm not a vegetarian obviously, but like things that I do like
You say
as
obviously like you're currently eating a steak.
well, I mean, I was just talking about eating turkey leg.
Oh,
Um
right.
um but like I've always had this like distaste for ketchup and ranch,
Huh. Like
and it
together
but
or separately?
um not like separately.
Okay, just you don't like those flavors.
I've become a little bit lenient on ranch over the years, especially like at a restaurant where they have like a special like this is our house ranch with all this cool spice in it.
Yeah.
Like I'll indulge in those, but the reason I don't like ketchup, we'll just stick there because like I said, ranch is okay. But watching people like eat it, like growing up, and just like, especially when like Carl's Jr. started doing like the "Don't bother me, I'm eating" commercials, and
I don't
like,
remember those, and
oh,
thank
you
God.
don't? Well, I guess
No,
it'd
because
be
I
hard.
love
Like
ketchup.
for you, it's Hardee's though, right? Or do you?
I
Is
don't
it?
know.
Yeah, but anyway, like they had this like "Don't bother me, I'm eating," and it'd be like an attractive model like eating one of their burgers and dipping their ketchup and fries and like the ketchup's just like dripping down their chin, but then like I remember watching I'll just I'll just say a couple people I know just eating those things and like seeing that same imagery of, sorry for people who are getting, if they're getting grossed out, but just the image.
I'm getting
Because
hungry. I
the
literally
point
want to
is,
go to Wendy's.
for me, it's just like it's just like gross to me, and so I don't like ketchup because I just think the way I've seen people eat it, and I honestly don't like the flavor of it that much either. But it's gross. Like
This is
ketchup's
a
just
hot
gross to
take.
me. Yeah,
Wow, you don't like ketchup? Sound off in the comments. What do you think about Mad not liking I was gonna say
but
comments.
I will
Ketchup.
say, like, to each their own. Like, I don't know, like my
Yeah.
kids, well, not my kids. One of my kids loves ketchup. Like, good for him. I'm glad he loves ketchup. I don't. My brother loves ketchup, but yeah,
What is this? You're talking about this like this is like a special thing. Most
it is.
people like ketchup.
Yeah, no, they do, but I know I'm not alone in like being the only person in the world that like, ketchup's gross. So
Yeah, but you might not be alone, but you're not correct in your
yeah. But
collective
anyways,
consciousness.
enough
Wow.
about ketchup.
Yeah.
Did you catch up on some comics this week?
Oh,
That whole thing
oh,
was just for that.
oh, what a setup. Oh, I did, bud. Um, I actually read a bunch. I've been at work every day since last Monday, and just going hard. I have an hour-long
Grinding.
commute. Yeah, so it's just been I've been grinding, but I do have like a healthy stack of comics that I read here and like good stuff. So I'm
Yeah.
excited to dive into it. I also bought a bunch of comics, but before I talk about the comics I bought, why don't you talk about the comics you bought?
Oh, because it's my turn to go first this week.
That's right.
All right, coming in at number one, Ollie Eyes issue 2 came out this week. I'm pretty excited about that. I really enjoyed issue 1. I got a lot of like next issues of things that got back ordered for me,
Okay.
and so like I didn't get them on release day. Ollie Eyes is one of them,
Right.
but so was the Neighbors. Like I just read Neighbors number 2, and so this
Right.
is number 3 just came out.
Yep, and I also got that.
And then something I've always been caught up with when it comes out is, what's the furthest place from here? Is this 13? Yeah,
It is
issue
13.
13. Good grief.
So
Great
hold on.
number.
Let's pause on that. I do
Oh yeah.
believe that that is the end of that arc. Is that correct?
Oh, I'm not 100% on that. I'm probably
Oh,
about
really?
70% yes, but I haven't looked into it.
Well, anyways,
Um
we've been talking off camera about wanting to do a catch up of that. So if this is
yeah.
the end of the arc, we're gonna definitely do it because I went back and reread the first arc. I think I mentioned this on
Yeah,
here.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
you mentioned that.
and I loved it. So I definitely want to have another chat about it. So I also picked it up. I got the same cover. I'm gonna Google it and see what when it comes out.
Right on. Something I'm the most excited about this week is Vanish number 7. I
Nice.
really liked issue 5. Issue 6 was like, it was good, but it wasn't like outstanding to me as like the other ones have been. So I'm really excited about issue 7 just to see like where it's going. Um, then I also got Star Wars Hyperspace Stories number 5 here, and danger lurks around every corner is what it's telling me.
I saw that. That enticed me. You know why?
Why?
Because the cover, it's doing a good job of being like, it's danger lurks around every corner. There's danger
Yeah,
around that corner. There's, probably all the people
yeah.
involved. What more do
Do
you
you,
need?
can you name all these characters?
I'm gonna say that's Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Uh,
Then I'm gonna assume that's Anakin Skywalker, and
yeah.
then Palpatine.
No.
No, it's Han Solo.
No.
Who is it?
It's Ventress.
Oh, I don't know if I know Ventress.
Ventress is mostly from the Clone Wars. She's also in a book
Mm,
called Dark Disciple that's really good. Like if you need like a novel to listen to on Audible, like Dark Disciple is excellent.
oh, really?
Yeah, I
Oh,
really I really enjoyed the performance of it on Audible.
I really want to listen to Heir of the Empire before the like all the Ahsoka stuff, like all the Disney Plus Star Wars series builds, I want to
Oh
kind of be
yeah.
familiar with that.
It'll be interesting to see how like Dave incorporates what we know of it, but
Hmm.
still brings out like something new and added to it.
Right.
Because I mean, like characters that didn't exist, like when the book was written, like, well, the big one would be Ahsoka. and
Right.
obviously Ahsoka is going to have some part to play in that movie, right? Like she
Yeah, I would
kind of
imagine that
like,
she's gonna have a big part. I mean, you're
yeah,
getting Rosaria Dawson, so I would imagine that you're getting your bang for your buck out of that,
yeah,
probably.
and then I also wonder, like, is he also going to incorporate like the sequel trilogies in some way? Like, are we going to see like the birth of Kylo Ren, or at least see like a Leia and Han Solo like
Something or other.
together? I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how they do that. But speaking of Star Wars, I got one more. It's the
Oh,
High Republic number 10. It's the final face off on Jedha. So I think this
oh,
is the finale of this volume. I'm
is
not.
it?
I believe it is.
Well, come back
Because
with it.
yeah, and then
I
I
love Jeddah as a concept, as a planet.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
good. That's my
it's a good
favorite Star
planet.
Wars planet.
You should read about it in the High Republic then. This arc specifically, because it
Oh,
all takes place there, and it's about kind of all these different, I don't know, like you could call some of them religious groups, other ones just like, I don't know, communities of like Force believers and Force users. So there's not just like the Jedi and Sith, but there's like other factions of Force users or worshippers,
right.
and they all like hate the Jedi. um I'm guessing you picked
That's
this one
funny.
up, Nightclub number 5.
I did. There it is. It's on the very bottom of my. There was another cool cover, but I ended up going with this one. I guess it was just
Oh,
the black
that's
and white
cool.
one.
Yeah, is
I
that
like the. I feel like that biker dude needs to look in black and white. He
yeah,
just belongs in black and white.
I think I like yours more just because it is in black and white.
Holla.
And see, this is another one that I just recently read the previous issue because it came to me late, but I got Hunt Kill Repeat number 3.
Nice.
Yeah, and I believe this is it right here. This is the last one. um I wish I was a little more jazzed, to be honest. But
Oh.
it's Blue Book number 4.
Oh, buddy, I felt the same way when I was
Yeah,
standing and I literally almost didn't pick it up. I was like, I opened it and I saw something that was like enticing. It looks like we're seeing a little bit more of what actually happened. So
yeah,
I'm like, okay, you kind of got me, but like the storytelling's been just it's the storytelling I think is my least favorite part of that, which is
mm,
ironic because of who's doing it, you know?
yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I wish I was a little bit more like hyped up about like reading it. I will read it, but
Yeah.
uh I don't know. I know like some of our other pals have kind of dropped it.
Yeah.
So, but I am going to continue because I told my shop I would take all the issues of it. So,
So you kind of got to. But hey, I mean, he's Tinian's worth something, you know, James
yeah,
Tinian the fourth. So it's probably good to just have, you know.
yeah,
But
and yeah,
is that it for you? Uh
yep,
oh, he's shaking his bag.
that's
For
it.
well,
One of my mini free comic book day bags.
so I'm pretty sure that I got 8 comics this week, and it looks like we've got 4 of the same. That's exciting.
That is
Wow.
exciting.
Yeah. And then how many did you get altogether? Because maybe
Uh,
you got 8 as well. Come on.
One,
Universe have
two,
meaning.
three, four. Oh, wait. That one
Oh,
didn't.
come on.
These two didn't come.
Oh no.
So
Oh, I
well,
shouldn't have
but
asked you to count out loud. How about you figure it out? Well, I
I'll do
talk
that.
about Bulls of Beacon Hill number 5. This is the end of this. Pretty stoked on seeing how this wraps up. I know you were on it at the beginning. We did a
Mhm.
review on it. I'll check back because I'm really happy that I stayed with this. So,
Okay.
yeah.
I saw that the like release date for the trade was up, and I was debating whether or not I should get it. So I await your final review.
Well, tune in not next week, but the week after that. We'll tell you why to do that later. But yeah, come back. I'll definitely have a review for it, a little thoughtsy poo to put out there into the universe.
I love your thoughtsy poos.
Yeah, to just throw out there into the universe. So okay, so the next 3, I'm gonna do this one next. Feeder, feeder. I think it's from Sumerian. It says Sumerian
Ah,
on the back, but I don't see. I really love the Sumerian logo because it's also a record.
Sumerian is okay. So I've been kind of scoping out the Omnibus app,
Yeah. Oh
and
yeah. Shout out to them.
Yeah, and Sumerian is not one on there, but they are curious. Like if you go to the website, it says like, what publishers would you like to see on here? Like
Mm-hmm.
Sumerian for sure, and like probably Aftershock I would also like to see on there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Um, but yeah,
I
like
haven't gotten
it's
to check that out yet, but are you enjoying it?
I like, yeah, I mean it's in its early stages, and like I love just the selection and how they can break it down by publisher, but they also still have like binge worthy reads.
Mm,
And like, but I mean, you like, not there are free comic book day comics on there that you could read for free, but I think that's the only thing on there for free.
okay.
um like, and there's no, I don't think there's like a membership quite yet where you could like like read whatever you want if you paid a monthly fee. I don't think there's anything like that yet. It's really just serves as kind of like a, I don't know, a comic book, online comic book shop, and you can store them there.
That's pretty sweet. I mean, yeah,
So
I'm sure it'll build, but like just even to start there is pretty dope. So
yeah.
yeah, nice. But yeah, going back to this comic, I have no idea what it's about. I just saw it was sitting on the shelf. It looked new. I think this and another one is my only number one that I got this week, which is pretty
Hmm.
cool. You know, so that means like 6 ongoing series reading. But huh,
Well, when
what?
you say that, I looked at my list and was like, did I get any number ones this week? And I did not. So that means I have 8 ongoing series that I'm into.
So you did also have 8 series?
Yeah.
Wow,
Uh-huh.
look at that. So yeah, there you go. Yeah, I really like this art. It's reminiscent of something that I can't really put my like hand on, or my it's I guess maybe like even Righteous Thirst for Vengeance.
Hmm.
It's just like very like real, but also like I know we always say this real but cartoony, but that's not it. Like just the way that their skin lays out across them is very like
Hmm.
interesting. Anyways, um, but that's that one. I'll probably check back on that one. Uh, next one that I got into, I saw this was coming out. I'm like, I'm interested in this. Definitely want to dive in on it. Um, just because these characters are both interesting to me. It's Daredevil and Echo.
Oh, I looked at that. I like looked long and hard, and there was like 2 different covers for it.
Mm,
And I don't know. I think I'm a little like off put by it because in the past for me, especially when they started doing the MCU TV shows,
hmm.
I kind of checked out like the releases that Marvel was doing of those characters at that time,
Yeah.
and I was just kind of overwhelmingly disappointed by all of them.
Mm,
And so I
understandable.
and so I was thinking, okay, so Echo has a show coming out and Daredevil has a show coming out. I don't want to get like the feels of this comic and then like, I don't know, not enjoy the shows as much, I guess. I don't know.
Sure. Sure, or
So,
not it feel like you enjoy this too much and then you don't enjoy the show because this gets you hyped or something like that.
yeah.
That's understandable. For me, it was just like I wanna dip my toe back into Marvel a little bit, and this was, like, the thing that I felt like
Mhm.
it's so one-off, like, Daredevil's so alone in his own little thing, like, he's
Yeah.
not like an Avenger or an X-Men where it's, like, part of this whole thing. And I'm sure there is. Like I say that, but I'm sure there's, I'll start reading it and I'll be like, I don't understand why these things are happening, but
Yeah.
it'll make sense in time. Like
Yeah.
if it's a well written story, then like I'll just be able to enjoy it.
Yeah. And I
So
I am gonna be dipping my toes back into Marvel over the next week. As I dip my toes into the Pacific Ocean while I sit on beaches in Hawaii.
that sounds fantastic. So that's why we've already pre-recorded next week's episode with our buddy Kyle from the Comic Book Lair. So
Mhm.
yeah, we talk about his journey with comics and also just some special comics to us. So we're
Yeah,
excited to
I
have that out.
it was a great conversation with them. I like really enjoyed having Kyle
Yeah.
on.
Oh, but speaking of Kyle, uh I Kyle has been riding this all the way to the end. He's being a good
Oh.
comic book boy, and even though it's not his favorite, he's been sticking through. This is the last issue of Horror.
Mhm.
I am so excited. One of my favorite comics. Um Yeah, so shout out to Kyle. Maybe let's pop on Instagram live and maybe we'll do a chat, or maybe we'll have a bonus episode. We'll figure out something. I'm calling you out
Yeah.
on the internet. Are you going to accept my challenge to a podcast or a Instagram video?
You're
Wow.
making it sound so threatening, and it's
Yeah.
just it's an invitation.
To
Like,
have a lively conversation about a
I
comic.
challenge you to a conversation.
So, but again, we always talk about like how much we love the community, and Kyle's definitely a big part of that. So is Ray.
Mhm.
Shout out to those guys. Our hearts and prayers are with them at the moment. But also Andy, I ran into him at the comic shop, and he had messaged me a
Nice.
couple weeks ago about asking if I wanted some trade paperbacks. So I have him sitting over here. He gave me a big old bag, so I'm gonna grab him.
Oh yeah, let's see it.
Yeah, I got a big hefty boy from him. Let me pop these all out. Oh,
So
no.
are these ones he's giving you, or like ones he's loaned you because he recommends you read them?
No, he's given me all these bad boys. So he was
Andy is such a nice guy.
he is.
He's
Maybe I'll
such a nice
split them
guy.
and send some to you.
But like this is the thing I love about Andy, because I mostly know Andy through Instagram, and he's a wrestler, so I mostly see like his wrestling stuff. But he posts his pull list every week, and him and I chat. Like if we both read something, we chat over Instagram. But
Mm-hmm.
just all the imagery of him is just this kind of like wrestler, like tough, like I don't know,
Just shredded.
just shredded dude. But he's such a sweetheart. Like
He's so gentle and like kind, and like he's so knowledgeable about comics, and he'll just listen to me like just ramble on about like my little nonsense, and he just knows, like he's like an encyclopedia,
Yeah.
He's a beautiful man. I love him very
I
much.
love his comments. I love
Yeah.
his comments on comics.
And if he had a comic, it would be fantastic. But yeah, let me just say what he gave me here. So Once in Future, volume 1, Wayward, which I'm pretty stoked on that. I really like that cover with all the cats.
Can you hold that a little bit closer?
Yeah, sorry. For those of you at home watching, there's that. And then this is the one he was most excited for me to get into. So I'm gonna probably crack this bad girl.
Is it Paper Girls?
It is Paper Girls.
Nice.
How did you know?
I kind of saw the part of the cover.
Oh, I
didn't
everything.
see it. I saw that just her. I'm pointing at the screen like people can see what I'm pointing at. I just saw the girl on the far right. Like I just saw her face.
Okay. Yeah. So I got Paper Girls volume 1 and 2. So definitely
I have
into those.
I started volume 1. I haven't finished it.
Okay. So, well, maybe you should get on that, because then we can.
I'll see what it is, because I'm gonna yeah, and I imagine I'm gonna have a lot of free time next week, like sitting in the sun. I mean, I don't know. It's just like kind of a hope and expectation, but we'll see.
Yeah. Well, I hope that plays out for you. I also got Unnatural, volume 3. So I'm gonna have to look into this, see if it's worth diving into. Somebody says they're totally hooked. Comics Acidity says it. So we can trust them. And also Wonder Woman, Earth 1, volume 2. So got a bunch of fun stuff.
Nice.
Andy's such a good guy. Make sure that you follow him, Andy Header, on Instagram. He's an awesome wrestler. He posts nerd stuff too.
Yeah.
I said to him that he's kind of like, so over on the Comic Book Lair, for those of you who don't listen to that, they have Ross come on every once in a while and talk about Marvel comics. And Andy reads DC and Marvel, so I'm like, we might have to do that with you. We might have to milk your brain, and that you're brave enough to go into those worlds and explore them. But cool. Yeah, that's all for me. I have so many comics. The amount of comics I've gotten this year, like from the beginning of this year, is just ridiculous. It's too much.
Yeah. I've so like of my free comic book day comics, I've read 2 of them. One of them was the Last Comic on Earth, which is a play on The Last Kids on Earth, which is a book series that I've read through with my kids. And so I got that for my hey, it's Andy.
Oh, hey. Hi, Andy. He says, hi, guys. I just jumped in. You were talking about me. Haha. Wayward is really good. It's like X-Men teens in Japan fighting yokai. Thanks for the kind words, ha. He's so even you can see his meekness in the even in the ha.
Andy,
But yeah,
you are
it's very
welcome
good.
because you deserve the kind words.
Yep.
You're a very kind soul. We
Let him sink
appreciate you.
in like the sun and the beach, like Mark's gonna be next week in
Hmm.
Hawaii.
Yeah.
Wow.
Uh,
So, but you know where it probably doesn't have a Hawaii?
well, I was gonna like, yeah. Well, go for it. Let's see where you're gonna go.
You know where? Probably Halloween Town.
Yeah. I was gonna spin that in the. I've only read one of my free comic book day comics, like for
You just said
myself.
two. Oh, for
No,
yourself.
for myself. I
Oh,
read one for my daughter because she wanted me to read it to her, and I was gonna like I that was something I wanted to give to her anyway, so I knew I was gonna read it. But I read the free comic book day of it's right up here. Um, the from
oh.
Tokyo Pop, The Nightmare Before Christmas #1.
I think
Um,
I like your cover better.
yeah,
I'll
but
hold up mine a little bit closer.
these
Mm,
are the same issue. I just got mine on for free comic book day, and you bought one.
yeah,
Um,
I would assume so. Actually, you know what I say? I like my cover more, and I'll explain why when we get more into the review.
yeah.
But let me say, just what you think? How'd you feel? How did you
Well,
feel in this?
I want to see what your first page of panels looks like, so I can confirm that it's the same
Sure.
thing.
Let's see. That something like this. Oh,
Nope,
sorry,
it's
that's my no. I had my
yeah,
yeah. Okay,
yeah.
so good. We read the same comic.
We read the same comic, and like, okay, so since I got mine first, because on free comic book day obviously came first.
Wow, way to rub it in.
Well, I just want to point out like the covers. Like this cover is really great because it does just show the two characters. We got Jack Skellington on the cover and Oogie Boogie,
Hmm.
and they're playing. This is when they're like younger. I don't know if they're like teen monsters or like what
Right.
age they are, but they're kind of like the two up and coming monsters in town that
Hmm.
like people are watching.
Yep.
And then yeah, so like this just shows them being pals.
Right.
Yours shows them in a foot race.
Yeah, but they're still like smiling, like the.
And they're still having fun, but like it
Mhm.
also like yours also kind of illustrates that there's something about your cover that has to do with the story, and that like their friendship turns into a competition because it is the
Mm,
battle of the Pumpkin King, and the Pumpkin King wants to step down but work closely with his predecessor
yeah.
or his successor.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Palpatine.
yeah, like Palpatine.
Sorry for
Pop
the pup in the background.
and I believe that the Pumpkin King's name is Pumpkin King Pumpatine.
Thank you for committing to that. Pumpatine.
Yeah,
Oh my goodness. If somebody could mock up some Pumpatine art, that would be fantastic.
that would be really cool. I guess
Um,
I mean these days we'll just have AI do it.
yeah, that makes me
No,
sad.
I don't.
Yeah.
I with like the
Anyways,
writer's strike going on right now, I'm just like I'm not even gonna touch AI in any
right,
way, shape. Well, I'm trying not to. There's certain ones that are just a part of your life, like your phone.
right, sure. But
So
anyways, on an back to the Nightmare Before Christmas comic.
mhm.
Um,
Yep.
so I I really enjoyed it. It was nice to be back in this world. Everyone kind
Mhm.
of felt like very much like the character. Like it felt like you picked up from it. Here's here's what I'm going to say, and I sizzled this on my Instagram post, that this comic I think is going to break my heart. And there's
Oh
a
yeah.
reason that I really love this cover, because even though you're right that it does show what this it does sum up like this idea of their friendship but also the competition, but I think just the art does such a good job of like illustrating the like joyful like playfulness in Oogie Boogie.
Yeah.
And for me, I'm like, that really hits home because when I was a kid, I was like, I was chubby. I wasn't as good as like as a lot of my friends that like sports and like even as skateboarding or like whatever. So I definitely like relate to this archetype of like the second guy that's like, just the sidekick that's like chubbier and silly and whatever, you know?
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah.
and like just knowing where Oogie Boogie ends up, and how that like inevitably ends in the movie is very depressing because I'm like, I can see the spark of joy in him right here, but knowing that he ultimately turns into like a bug like something that like gets destroyed, it's just very depressing. What just
I
happened?
I laid my comic down on my resealable
Oh no.
package, and I just, as you said, I watched something beautiful get destroyed. I just tore this whole thing right here.
Oh man.
So I guess, man, now I'm gonna have to like actually buy issue number one.
Just send me that. I'll take it.
No, I'm gonna
Um,
keep. I'm
but yeah,
keeping
did you
this
hear?
as a. Yeah, no, I was listening because
Yeah.
it was happening before my eyes.
But yeah, I mean, I'm just real. That's gonna bum me out just seeing
Yeah,
like because I'm assuming we're gonna see his fall from grace, and I can't think of
yeah,
any because of how innocent they portray him in this. I think it's gonna be hard for me to be like, what did he do that made him such an outcast that was okay that like Jack Skellington murders him, you know? Um, for those of you listening, Mark is holding up a t-shirt that says "Let's Boogie." It's not a t-shirt; it's a hoodie.
it's a hoodie and it's like Oogie Boogie.
Oh yeah, it is. Oh
Yeah,
my goodness, that's pretty dope.
yeah,
Um,
but yeah, no, and it's just like Oogie Boogie too is always like the question was as a kid is just like, what is Oogie Boogie's deal? You
mhm.
know, like why is he such like a bad guy who's just like isolated himself from a community, which like the movie alludes to that there's history.
And like they're all bad people. Like they all want
Yeah,
to do bad things, and they're just like, no, we don't want to screw with this guy because he really wants to do bad things. You know?
yeah. So I really liked it. I appreciate the creator, the writer of this. I did not write any of that down. Is it Dan
Oh,
Connor?
um, written by Dan Connor. Yep. Story
Yeah,
by Sean McLaughlin and DJ Milkley. Pencils and ink by Deborah Allo, who does a fantastic job.
absolutely.
Um, yeah,
Because
and
it is kind of like a anime inspired comic too. So like the art is less it pays good tribute to the traditional style of Nightmare Before Christmas, but you can also see the influence of the anime in it, and I really like that.
yeah, it definitely isn't like trying to just do the exact same thing. It's taking liberties, but it's paying off for sure.
Oh
So
yeah,
maybe that'll even like be this thing where I'm like, well, the art's different, so it's a different world. It's not a sad one where Oogie Boogie was just an innocent kid and then gets squished on by Santa, right? Santa
yeah.
kills the last bug. Oh, that's real sad.
It's so sad.
Imagine like you're just running around with your buds as a kid, and then you flash forward 20 years and Santa's murdering you.
Yeah.
Anyways, it was a really good comic. I'm excited to
Um,
see where it goes.
yeah. So Dan Connor also wrote that like short Zero's Journey, like Tim Burton's
Okay.
Nightmare Before Christmas Zero's Journey.
Never read it.
Yeah, I think it was like a digital like short or something. I
Okay.
can't I think it like I believe it's available on Disney Plus, but I know I've seen it. I can't really tell you
Oh,
what it.
it's an animated thing?
I've seen it in whatever it is, and
I thought it was a comic.
in
It's
my
not a
head.
comic.
Oh no, you're right. It is a comic.
What is happening right now? Is it a comic or is it a television show? What are you
I,
doing?
I'm just confusing myself and everyone else.
I shouldn't have said, "What are you doing?" That's
Yeah,
inquisitory.
yeah, no,
What's happening?
it is a comic. I for some reason was seeing it as like a show in my head, but I think I was also just picturing Zero flying around. But yeah, no, that was
Mm,
also came out by Tokyo Pop. And what year did that come out?
who knows?
Who knows?
Um,
Doesn't matter. It but yeah, but I really like this, so I'm probably gonna hop on to it.
yeah, I think we should because it's just for fun. You know?
Yeah, and it's also it's another thing for me to like show my family because Kate Kate loves Nightmare Before Christmas. I have a
Yeah.
Jack like one of those like Jack Skellington t-shirts.
Yeah.
And I have like a really cool Jack Skellington like jacket.
Oh, that's
Um
cool.
yeah, so I'm yeah, when I saw it was a free comic book day thing, I was like, heck yeah, I'm gonna get that. So I didn't actually know it was gonna be like a series, and I probably
Mm,
could have paid attention to that. So yeah, I'm gonna probably try and hop onto that.
I agree. I'm
Um
I'm all in, buddy.
heck yeah. Uh so we had some creators reach out to us this last week, is that right?
That's
You
right.
you
We
you
did.
did all the talking with them,
That's
so
true. So we had let me just pull up the name right here. So we had Tim Radicke of Superbuds and some other stuff reach out to us and asked us to check out Grave Brigade. Uh,
Grave Brigade.
Grave Brigade. Sorry if we're struggling to say that.
It's really hard to say those 2 words together. You really gotta
But I
focus in.
really like those 2 words together. Like, when I
Yeah,
read this in my head, I'm like, "That's a dope title." It does, like it is a little, like, jumbly, but it does, like, flow very well, in my humble opinion.
yeah,
Um,
and, I'll hold up the cover here. I don't know how well it'll show on a digital screen
yeah,
for me, but
that looks great to me. I'm a huge fan of this art. It was
yeah.
great. He sent it over to us in a PDF, and it was, like, just awesome to, like, open it up, and you just see, like, just good, like, detailed art. I'm just like,
Mhm.
"Oh, I'm very excited about this because it just again, it feels like when people put, like, that level of, like, care into things and making it, like, look as polished as it is, it definitely means that you care about it, right? You
Right.
know? So,
Yeah.
just let's shout out the creative team. So it was written by Mike Dean and Tim Radicke. Radicke. I'm really sorry if I'm saying that wrong, which I'm sure I am. Illustrated by Deborah
You
Lancenes.
you should
Uh,
recognize this name.
why did I just why?
She's worked with, a pal of ours,
Which pal?
Hedrick.
Nice. On
Yeah.
what? What are you
Um,
dragging this out?
be because I can't remember specifically which one it was.
Oh, I threw you right under the bus.
Yeah.
Um, well, okay. Well, you can figure that out while I list off the last 2 people. Arthur.
I wanna say it was, Boy Who Conquered a Mountain. Or no, 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 no. That's Chance. Man, I'm really you keep talking, I'll figure this out.
Thank you. Colors by Arthur Hessely and letters by Dave Swartz. Um, yeah, and the story seems to be picking up, I believe, during World War I, or is it,
It's during World War II.
World War II? Okay, I
Yeah.
always get the when the times were for that. And it's like this special unit that's kind of I don't wanna I feel like I'm gonna botch it trying to, like, put it into my own words, but I feel like, that's well, I'm gonna explain how I took in the comic. It seems like there's this special unit out to kind of battle the occult things or to, like, search for, like, these occult things that, yeah, I guess that yeah, World War II was, had Hitler who was into all the occult stuff. So it's just that, like, World War II backdrop with just weird mystical stuff, and there's a werewolf in it. And I was reading this, I'm like, werewolves are definitely my like vampires.
Mm,
I don't love them, I think, as much as you love vampires, but of the like mythos of creatures, I really like werewolves.
mm,
Maybe because I'm a little bipolar, but I just like just the concept of people, like, having to live with, like, "Oh, I turn into this monster every once in a while," you know?
yeah,
It's an
yeah.
interesting archetype.
No, and, like, I think I really like it just because it is playing on, like, classic horror tropes, like, this is a brigade going after classic horror tropes, and
Mhm.
it's during World War II, and
Oh,
the
that's
Nazis
true.
and, like, so the Nazis have some kind of, like, tie to all this well, like, yeah, historically, I think we do know, like, Nazism had, like, a tie to some occultism,
Mhm.
and, uh, and so this is kinda playing on, like, a historical, like, fact, but like expressing it through like classic horror genre as we understand it. And so like
Right.
I really enjoyed it for that principle. And then now that I'm going to stop embarrassing myself about Deborah, but Deborah, good grief. It's really hard for me when we have 2 pals named Jonathan, and I'm
Yeah,
always getting their comics confused in my head. But
and we had
yeah,
them on back to back as
yeah,
guests, and so
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. So, Deborah worked with Hedrick on Hyperware, and she's working with him on Quicksand currently.
that explains it. That's why
Yeah.
that looks, like, so familiar to me, that it's just, like, good. Again, I don't know the word, I just wanna say solid,
Mhm.
like, just good, like, the space in between the lines is well utilized.
Oh,
And
yeah.
which is, like, empty space, but it's also, like, shading and, like, just it's those small details that like
Yeah.
make it seem like alive, even though like there's not much happening in there, you know?
Yeah.
And
No, like
again,
the tone of it is very like dead.
mhm,
Kind of again, I'm going to mention Chance again, but just like with Chance's Cover the Dead with Lime, it has a very like dead,
shadow,
hard,
yeah,
shadowy tone to it. And Deborah did a really good job with her pencils and inks on this.
100%.
Um, but yeah, I really, really enjoyed this. They are launching their Kickstarter for it
Right.
soon.
June 15th, I believe, is the date. I'll try to look that up real quick, but um yeah, I would definitely say support it. If it was out at the moment, I would throw it in the comments, but when it comes out, I'm probably gonna try to jump on it. So we'll
Yeah,
throw it out there. And maybe if you're listening and you want to come on, let us know. This is
yeah.
a subtle invite. I keep inviting people on to do the show in this episode. I'm like, Kyle, let's do this thing. You, Tim, come on, let's bring on some people. Let's talk about werewolves. But yeah. Um, speaking of, uh, I said werewolves were kind of my vampires, and you kind of have vampires, and you have
hmm
vampires in the fashion of little monsters.
I do. I actually have it twice, which
Oh.
wasn't planned, but I'll get to that second one last. But yeah, Little Monsters wrapped up, and
Ooh.
I was fortunate to kind of get some of our pals' takes on it as well. Yeah, and actually, I believe I chat with Kyle before we went live or
I
after we
can't
went live.
remember.
Yeah, so it might be in next week's episode. Kyle and I kind of chatting about it. Um, but I really liked how it wrapped it up. It really did just bring the whole story full circle. Um, and the ending of it was just, I don't know, it was very well done. And I'm not surprised because we were talking about Jeff Lemire.
Hmm.
And he does like he's always leaving you like between first and last issues, like wondering like I don't want to say like why am I reading this, but like he leaves you with a lot of questions.
Yeah, just a lot of like, what's this?
Yeah.
Oh, look at
Like
that. And another pal agrees.
yeah, like it just the whole series overall is it's fantastic. I really love Dustin Nguyen's art as well throughout it. Similar to the next one I'll be talking about. I like seeing artists kind of like drawing off of each other. I mean, that's like the whole world of art is just like the inspiration of and creation of.
Mm,
And just the way that Jeff and Dustin told this story and the way that Dustin was able to use his panels to help tell the story, uh, just yeah, was really really well done. Uh, I love how black and white it is, but just like the
hmm.
minimal insertions of color, mostly red. But every once in a while, you get a shimmer of beauty that Rami uh, I think Kyle and I might have a debate on how you say his name.
Yeah. That's
um,
that's comics.
yeah. Um, but yeah, like I really enjoyed it. I kind of am bummed for you that you dropped off of it, but you are also really burnt out on vampires at that point, so I completely understand. Um, but yeah, like if you can pick up the trade paperback, it's totally worth a read through. And I have said this too, and I want to know what other people think, but like I think I would have rather read it all the way through rather than issue to issue. But that's how I honestly feel about a lot of Lemire's work is I'd rather just have the whole thing in front of me to go through instead of waiting.
Right. Because you just always want more, you know?
Yeah,
There's
because
nothing in
that's what he
those.
does. He, like we said, he leaves you wanting more. You have questions and you want the answers, and he just introduces that so well in each issue of Little Monsters. Just and answers questions about each one of the little monsters in each issue while like the current story is going on. Um, yeah, muted your airplane.
Yeah. Sorry, a helicopter flew overhead. Just want to say, Eric said real quick, Little Monsters was incredible. Totally agree. Each panel should be framed, and the cover is a mirror to their Descender issue number 1. That's
Ah,
awesome.
nice connection.
Look at that.
Um,
Thanks for that.
yeah. So what did you get into this week, pal?
My good old buddy pal. My good old buddy pal. You're my buddy pal, buddy. That's just me. I wish everyone could have seen like how much I was franticing through my comments while I was doing that, so it makes the stutter even better because I'm like, I should have been ready to talk about Dark Spaces, Good Deeds.
Yeah, I missed out on this one. I asked my shop to get it, and they still might be getting it for me. I'm not sure, but I didn't have it on release day, so.
So I really enjoyed it. Not gonna lie, I kind of forgot that I read it because I was going through like my read pile for this week. I'm like, oh yeah, and then I started thumbing through it, and I was like, man, you know what? I did really enjoy this. I pulled the a little bit of the pub sum to kind of set us up, but Dark Spaces Good Deeds, or whoops, sorry about that. Dark Spaces anthology line. Okay, so apparently it's an anthology. Confirmed. You've heard it here first on the Pullbox Pals.
Yeah. The next one's like called Hollywood, I think.
Okay. Oh,
Yeah.
nice. The anthology line returns with an all-new story and creative team. In search of a fresh start, teenager Shynell Collins and her mother Rebecca moved to St. Augustine, Florida, where they cross paths with Jean McKnight, a disgraced big city journalist determined to pay her dues and rebuild her career, starting with a fluff piece on the town's upcoming 450th anniversary celebration. What they don't say in this is that Cheyenne and her mother get they either buy, I think, yeah, they buy it, a old like rundown diner. So a lot of the story is them fixing it up and Cheyenne going to school, and you don't really learn much about the characters, like how they ended up where they are. You just kind of just filling in the pieces. You know, this mother daughter's moving to Florida. This news reporter, apparently something happened and she's trying to like rebuild her career. But they're interesting characters, and what's really cool is they're all female, and then I do believe that the entire everyone writing it is female as well. The writer is Che Grayson, artist is Chelsea Ramsey, and let's see if I can find anything else. And Rhonda Pattison, which I can't see what she's doing, but yeah, it's a all girls team, and it's a great comic. Very much excited to see where it goes. The how do you say this? There's something happens with the old owner of the diner. I don't want to spoil it because I do want you to read it. And so this is going to be a little bit different than Dark Spaces Wildfire, because that was kind of very grounded and like about about a robbery essentially.
Yeah, and it was a story that took place over what, 6 issues? 4 issues?
Five or 6, something like that.
Yeah.
Great story. I have it up on my wall.
Yeah,
But
I got the trade. It's great. Like, again, if you haven't delved into the world of Dark Spaces, it's worth it.
But I will say it was good to be back in a grimy diner. We haven't been in like a good grimy diner since Silver Coin.
Yes.
So if you kind of if you know what I'm talking about, if you know that griminess of Silver Coin, and you know the dive into this. I feel like it's not as grimy, but it'll hit that spot for you.
When I was organizing my comics a couple weeks ago and came up on the Silver Coins, and I was like, man, I miss this. Like as much as like I still will argue the first arc is like hands down the best.
Yeah.
Like I still just really enjoyed the second and third arc. And was it Eric Walsh?
Michael Walsh.
Michael Walsh. Yeah, he I know he's taking a break because I think he had a kid on the way and all that, but it's just like, Michael, when you're ready, I'm ready.
We're ready.
We're ready for it.
Oh my God. It was one of my favorite comics to get because I knew it wouldn't ever really disappoint.
Yeah. There's always something interesting because you're following the Silver Coin through an anthology of stories.
It's all like everyone's taking swings with these, and like even
the art's always the artist is always different. And
no, the art is always the same.
No, the artist is always different.
No, the art is always the same. The writer is different.
Oh, right. Sorry, yeah. Sorry, thank you.
It's okay.
Right. I'm the one embarrassing myself this week.
Yay! I'm taking my foot out of my mouth for the week. Oh, it feels so nice to be correct. Yeah, but I just want to say we don't really talk about comic news much, but a comic that I really love getting is Mark's ringtone. If you
Oh
need
boy.
if you need a bounce, you totally can.
No,
Um,
we're fine. We'll
you're
be all
good.
right.
But yeah, that Texas Blood is coming out with a spin-off series, and I forget what it's called. It's like the something something massacre.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah, and so I'm very, 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 very excited about that. My three
Yeah.
favorite comic book genres: Western, sci-fi, noir. You know,
Yeah.
like, and honestly, like that Texas Blood hits two of those, so I'm good. So,
Yeah.
yep.
No, I think I'm pretty similar. I would throw horror in there as
Mm.
well.
Yeah, but horror is
Uh,
kind of broad. But
yeah,
anyways,
horror it is, but it's told in various genres.
right,
Um,
right.
but but yeah, I know we're kind of getting close on time, but I really wanted to mention this because I
Sure.
did bring up that I checked out the Omnibus app this week, which just released not that long ago. I think it
No.
was maybe last week. But something that's been on my list from Scout Comics that I've been wanting to read, and it has to do with Francesca Fantini. She
Okay.
is the artist on this. This is Jonathan Hedrick's wife. Um,
Oh.
I I'm pretty sure. um, but yeah, her Stake Volume One
Oh, that looks
was something.
fantastic.
Yeah, and it has like kind of that similar thing as Little Monsters in that like it's mostly like black and white. This is the opening panel.
Oh, that's beautiful.
And color is used so well, but like her detail is just like on point and like
Mhm.
I was very much blown away by her art because like I'd seen her art when I saw Jonathan at the Fan Expo and like that's when I met her as well, but I was mostly talking with Jonathan
Mhm.
um and so I didn't get like a big chance to like talk with her, but I did like look at her table and I was pretty impressed. So I was excited to like get in to this just because this was hers. And but the story is really good too because it's another vampire story, but it's also like kind of twisting some of the tropes.
Mm.
Uh, but it also treats it as like kind of like a underworld vibe, and that like yeah, vampires do exist and have always existed among us. But now with like all the social media and everything, they're just like we can't really hide anymore.
Mm.
And so this one vampire kind of takes upon himself to announce like their existence to the world,
Yeah.
and he does it by like murdering somebody like on a live stream.
Oh, geez.
Like yeah, not sucking their blood. He destroys this person in a very heartless way, I'll say.
Oh.
um yeah, so it starts off like really heavy, but then like the main character, um she got her like her name online is Stake, but her I think her real name's Angel. um she's like a hunter in training, and she's being trained by a vampire because like the vampires are being kind of treated like what we'll say kind of how like Civil War handles the superhero thing. Should superheroes
Mm.
have to register? And
Right.
so a lot of vampires have registered and they work for like the Vampire Bounty Hunter Commission or whatever it's called. um and so there's humans and vampires that are hunting and offering the opportunity for unregistered vampires to register, and then they can go about their lives. One thing I like that they played on is that like uh, nothing like really all the tropes we know of vampires that like instantly kill them, like sunlight or like having garlic around your neck. They like
Mhm.
twist those things a bit. And
Okay.
so like vampires can be out in the sun.
Mhm.
It just like hurts really bad, and if they are out too long, it'll eventually kill them, but it's not like an instant like thing.
Mm.
And so let me see if I can find the panel for it. But there's a way around it, and that like with all the technology these days, there's like a bronzer that they can put on. Um, and the way that this is drawn, I just can't. That's the problem with having a full volume to look through.
Oh,
Uh,
yeah. That's oh, yeah, because you are just kinda just slip sliding through the whole thing. I mean,
but
that
I'll see if I can find it. But essentially, like she gets drawn like kind of like yeah, right here. This is good. Um, it's like you can kind of see. So the main character there is with the black hair, and her face is kind of blushing a little bit, and then like that's
Mhm.
her mentor who is a vampire, and they're going to investigate a crime scene.
Yeah.
but like she like kind of the Stake or Angel, she like kind of pokes fun at it in this scene, or
Yeah.
like through the sequence of panels. And it's like she's not like super bright orange, but in this black and white world it does stand out like a lot.
Right. Yeah.
And but yeah, so there's just,
That's
it's a really kind of cool like modern, and like a modern inspired take on vampires and like what it could be like.
right.
So I really enjoy it. I read the whole thing through. I sat down
Oh
planning
wow.
on, yeah, I sat down planning on like doing, one issue a day through it. But then when I sat down and read it, I'm like, no, I'm going through this.
That's awesome.
So yeah, it was excellent. I was so happy that I got to read it, and I'm so happy that Omnibus had it. And
Hmm.
if you haven't checked out the Omnibus app, uh, go for it, because I know these guys just started, they just launched it. So there's a lot of stuff to get worked out. And I think the more advice they get from users, the better the app will be. But I'm just really excited to see this. Um,
Hmm.
and I'll just show you this, but like, if you go to the store, this is not at the top of the page, but like you can see the list of publishers and you can just look through things by the
Nice.
publisher. And
That's
so,
dope.
yeah, so they got Ablaze, Ahoy, Black Panel, Boom, CEX. I can't remember what that stands for.
Mm-mm.
Image, Mad Cave, Scout Comics, Silver Sprocket, Valiant, and Vault are all on
That's
there.
great.
And
Those are
like I said
great.
earlier, like, yeah, I'd like to see like Aftershock and Sumerian on there as well.
Right.
Um, but yeah, they're at a good start. And so thank you, Omnibus, for making this possible for me to like kind of read Scout Comics in a cool way.
Yeah. Agreed. I'm definitely gonna have to check that out. Did you get into this at all? The
No,
Seasons Have
because
Teeth number two?
I forgot to tell my shop that I wanted to stay on it, because
Yeah.
that was just one of the ones that when I showed up the shop, they had one extra copy, and I grabbed it, and it wasn't something I had asked for.
Right.
And
Okay.
so yeah, so I might just wait for the trade, because I think it is only 4 issues, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, it's definitely uh I just it's I would definitely say keep going with it because it's probably gonna only be four. And again, like it's just one of those kind of like poetic comics, you know? It just kind of it reads like a poem and it's not one of those it doesn't feel like it's gonna be ongoing. It just tells a message and then it's done, you know?
Yeah.
It's what Boom is great for.
Yeah.
Um, so I'm just realizing I don't think did I say that I got Ambassadors issue number 5? I meant to pick it up and I didn't because I did read in this past 2 weeks. I got caught up on the Ambassadors 3 and 4. Mark, ask me what happens in this comic.
What happens in issues 3 and 4, or are we talking about 5? Whichever one. What happens in it?
Nothing. I don't think anything happens. But I
Oh,
think I think things happened. I saw pictures on, and I say that like I didn't enjoy it, but I like finished reading it, and I was just like, okay, like it. Where like again, if I criticize like Little Monsters for not moving very fast, this is like doing the same thing, except it's just building so much, and I'm like, this is gonna be like it has to at least be 16 issues because of how much they're building. Like they're not done like
yeah.
issue number 5 is coming out soon and there's still like the team isn't like built.
It
They
seems like
haven't
these are all coming out really fast too.
I yeah, like for sure. So I don't know what this is. I honestly don't know if I'm gonna stay on it. I mean, I guess I Freudian slipped and didn't pick it up today. But I do want to. Like I know I started this review off rather harsh, but like I enjoyed the entire experience, but it was
Mhm.
again that same experience of just being like what happened. Like there was a lot of cool stuff, but like it just feels like where we started and where we finished just doesn't matter, you know, because a
Yeah.
lot of it is just setting up like these people being chosen. And there, again, it's like cool and stuff, but I feel like there's a better way to tell these people's stories than to just give you like, you know, one third of a comic, and then like that's their origin. Like this is why they're this person, and that's
Mhm.
just like what it was over and over again. And I'm like, okay, but like, what's the team gonna do? Like there's like little sprinkles of like where the arc's gonna go, but and again like I enjoyed it, like read them back to back, but it was just like this is gonna be a lot. And I know I wanted an ongoing series, so maybe this is it. Maybe I'm criticizing for getting what I want, um,
Yeah.
but it's just I guess I'm excited because I when I go to Mark Miller, I think of like kind of a lot more action pack and a like and it's just not that. Like,
Well, that's because Kick-Ass though, right?
yeah, I think that that's
Yeah,
my problem, is that I'm just expecting kick ass.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, like Ambassadors very much carries like the Jupiter's Legacy vibe for me,
Okay,
and
I never read it.
yeah, and so it's just I don't know. It seemed. I mean, I only read issue one, but it just seemed like it was kind of like another dark take on superhero world,
Yeah.
and but like it is interesting to me because this is one where like the artist is different each issue, right?
Yeah. And
Yeah,
I enjoy that. Um, but again, I'm like, well, what's the purpose of this? Is it because we're all talking about different people? Because it does make it a little bit confusing when I see people outside of their costumes. I'm like, is that the same person? It doesn't happen much, but like I guarantee it will, you know.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
so anyways, that's that. I didn't want it to sound as harsh like as it did, but
You're like
um
everything I said I was not planning on saying.
no, I mean I did, like I knew that that's how I felt about it. But
No, but
again,
I
like
mean, we like. I think we should like you should be honest on this platform, and
I
like
agree.
it's this
Uh,
like it starts conversation about these things, and that's what we do. We like to have conversations about comics, and whether or not we all like them or don't, like those conversations still need to be had. So
I agree. Well, do you got anybody anywhere else that you want to shout out?
let's. I read a couple others this week. So yeah, I already mentioned I caught up on Neighbors. I caught up on Hunt, Kill, Repeat, and then I also read Emma Kubert's Stoneheart #3. Still really enjoying that as well. It is just like a really cool like sci-fi fantasy, um,
Mhm.
and just the fact that she's doing all of it. She is like the cartoonist, like so she's writing it,
That's
drawing it,
dope.
coloring it.
I love that.
Um, so it is a really cool story, and I'm digging it. And I'm excited that I read Hunt, Kill, Repeat, and Neighbors so recently since the next issues came out this week. So it'll be easy to like hop into those next ones.
Yeah, I'm excited to dive into Neighbors. I feel like there's
Yeah,
too long of a gap in between that, you know?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. No, it kind of feels that way, but it's still I think it's still been fairly monthly. So
Yeah. Again, just I want to shout out Junction Jones and the Corduroy Conspiracy. I really enjoyed it. It's a lot more wordy than I normally read, but it's really fun because it's just very trippy. Like it
mhm.
feels like, and I don't. This again, it's not an insult, but I would imagine what it's like tripping, like robo tripping. Like everything is kind of like, you know what robo tripping is, when you drink a whole bottle of Robitussin. I've never
Uh-huh.
done that, but it's
No.
very much what I would imagine it feels like, of just like this strange, like everything's off. You feel kind of like everything is very heavy. I love the art. So let me just pull it up real quick, and it's just like very weird, and I don't know. I don't know how to describe it other than just like trippy, just shadowy, like
Mhm.
just, and again, like the story is very much just like what's happening. It's all even this was true in issue number one as well, of just like these long narratives of just telling really weird antidotes. And it's like this is just such a strange world, you know. And so I love like a good dip into like, because sometimes like when, especially with sci-fi, you're just like everyone's so serious, or like even on the opposite side, they're very like laid back because they're used to sci-fi. But this is a very much just like the world, something's like gone kind of wrong. Like the world's been like the galaxy's been tainted, and everyone's like kind of like a little off kilter, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, I love it. I've been enjoying it. I'm very excited. Been loving talking with TC. So yeah, definitely check that out. And then also read Mosley. And again, I don't really have much to say about that. When it wraps up, I'll probably come back and say more about it. But
Yeah.
I think that's all that I got into this week.
Nice. Yeah, I'm trying to think. So I did read Don't Spit Into the Wind #1. I also read that on the Omnibus app.
Nice.
I read that because it was Stefano. Stefano worked with, and I'm mentioning Hedrick a lot this week, but it's just
There you go.
there's just connections that are
It's hard
happening.
not to. He's a
Yeah.
hardworking lad.
He's a hardworking guy and he's putting out some great stuff. So
Hmm.
and the people he's worked with, I've been watching out for and seeing what else they've been putting out. So I'm probably gonna get issue 2 that's also available on the app.
Nice.
But yeah, I love his like watercolor style art. So
Yeah, I agree. I don't think I realized that was him, so I think I might have to dive in on that because I really do love his art.
yeah.
So,
I guess I got nothing else to talk
nothing
about.
else. Well, then I guess it's time for us to put a lasso on. I was thinking of a lay. To put a lay around a horse and get ready for you to head off to Hawaii. You
Yeah,
gonna
that works. Yeah,
you
we're
want
just
to
gonna gallop right across the ocean. My horse is gonna be so fast, it's gonna be like the Flash, but like a little bit slower, so my skin stays on. But yeah, it's gonna be fun. I
Yeah,
can't
man.
wait.
I hope you have a good time. I hope that you and your family all have a good one. Stay away from turtles because they're endangered.
Yeah.
That
Well,
happened to me in
you're
Hawaii. You're
also
not allowed to touch them.
yeah, you're not supposed to. So I'm actually going to Kona. So
Oh
like
wow.
my kind of old stomping grounds. So
Yeah, I was there
um
for 1 week. The same place that you're going to be walking
yeah,
around. I got a tattoo there. 2 tattoos. One on.
that's where I got my ears done. Is in Kona.
Wow.
Yeah.
Look at us modifying our body when we're away from our parents in Hawaii. No rules.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no,
All right.
I'm excited to go back and just see how things are. My sister still lives there, so I'll go see her as well.
That's
So that's
awesome.
nice. Yeah.
All right, let's bring this horse to the luau. I'm getting sleepy.
All right. Well, if you joined us, thank you. And if you're
Woo.
watching here on YouTube, please like this uh, podcast. Ring the bell so you know when we're going live next. Uh,
Ding-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling.
and then if you're watching this post, so if you're listening to us on Spotify or maybe you're watching this again on YouTube, just please like and subscribe. Leave some comments. We are most active on Instagram. You can find us at the pullboxpals there. You can find me at mad_nerdy, and you can find Monk at that Monk guy.
Hi.
But yeah, we are technically on all the social media platforms, but we're mostly active on I'd say YouTube and Instagram. So
Yes, that is very much true. So thank you guys so much for hanging out. Mr. Mad, it's always a great time. I probably won't talk to you until you get back. We'll probably text about some comics.
yeah,
So I hope you have a good time. I hope you meet Luke Skywalker because I know that would mean a lot to you.
it sure
But
would.
in the meantime, I haven't read comics like these in years. Oh.